Welcome back to the MacRumor Show. Quick heads up, we'll be recording together next week and want your questions for our annual Q&A, so drop them on YouTube or email us if no questions come in. We may just skip it.
I'm ready to dive into Apple's most interesting iPad right now because the next iPad mini looks like the most pro-leaning overhaul it has ever had.
Set the stage. What's actually changing on the mini and why now?
Apple seems to be flipping the usual playbook by giving the mini the new design first, then handing it to the Air a year later. Think thinner body, slimmer bezels, a slightly larger 8.7-inch OLED screen, and a feature list that feels closer to a shrunken Air than a base iPad.
Mini refreshes can feel sleepy, but an OLED screen is a real jump. Do you actually use a mini day to day?
I owned a 2021 mini, loved its playful iPod Touch vibe, but sold it because I did not reach for it enough. It shines for reading and light content because it is so easy to hold.
I keep trying to make it my e-reader at home, but it is almost too capable and I get distracted, which is exactly why.
That portability is the real hook. The bigger iPads are great on a long flight, but the mini is the one you actually toss in a bag, and this thinner, slightly larger OLED version should feel even more like a Mini Pro.
Does that all add up to a higher price, like an extra $100?
I expect it to land around $600 because OLED adds cost, and Apple is also switching to a vibration-based speaker design that paves the way for the first IP-rated water-resistant iPad and likely ditches the classic perforated grills.
iPads already seem fairly splash tough and certification is pricey, but true water resistance would make poolside or bath reading much less stressful. I have dropped an iPad in water and it survived.
Apple Gear often outperforms its official ratings, but I still want this direction, and I would love to see a water-resistant MacBook someday.
Sales-wise, does a better mini move the needle, and how does it stack up against other iPads?
The Air generally feels like the mainstream pick, while Pro units are pricier niche buys, and the Mini is its own thing because of size. It is not the tablet you choose for heavy creative work with a keyboard attached.
Recent estimates put Mini around 9 to 10% of iPad units, sitting behind the base iPad and Pro in share.
Either way, the big story is that the Air should mirror the Mini's redesign next, and that could eat into Pro demand, because an OLED Air that gets thinner and nicer to hold covers most use cases.
At this point, the only headline-making iPad move left is a foldable.
If a 13-inch iPad Pro could fold down to mini size, I would buy it instantly. It solves portability, opens laptop-style angles on a table, and finally gives the Pro a clear reason to exist at a higher price.
We have seen PC concepts with glass keyboards, and aside from OLED, everything else feels like small annual nudges.
The last decade brought M-series chips, Stage Manager, Mini LED to OLED, and big thinness gains, but we are